security, I understanding the potential adversary. For example, if you're carrying news on nation state, there is a high chances that you'll be targeted by nation state actors, fellow competitors, state or states that are on the other side of the spectrum of the country you're working with or where you're working at. So you have to assess your risk, understand that what do you stand to lose. So by having backup, sometimes you have the information in places, and there are some information that are better kept offline because as long as you're online, there's a chance for you to be compromised. So can we move to the next slide, please? So we are going to be doing 2 case studies today. So in 2013, there is hacking of the New York Times. So how did this happen? This happened with the use of phishing email, which means someone crafts an email to someone to tell them to do what they want, and unknowingly, the recipient of the email clicked on it, provided the necessary details, and this is how they gain entrance into the system or computer network of New York Times. So this resulted in identity theft, which leads to disclosure of sensitive information and disruption of operation. So the should the staff have two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, popularly known as MFA? This would have been impossible, or let's say the staff are well versed on phishing email, understanding what to look for, like the grammar, or how the email is being structured, where it's coming from. If there's some sort of urgency to the email, that could have prevented this. But this is almost 10 years ago. If this is over 10 years ago, in all likelihood. So in the second case, we're talking about ransomware attack on Baltimore Sun in Maryland in 2019. So what did the attacker do in this case is a different case because they are trying to gain access to the system. They lock it up from the intended owner of the devices, and now they encrypted the file, which basically means they added a code to the file to make it unusable to the real owner. And what they do now is request that the owner pay them money to be able to gain access back to the system. So should you be a journalist and this happened to you, that means you may be losing all your sources, information, contact, and everything important to you. So what happened in this case is you need to require a full backup, which is why backup from before is very important. You may have to come back off using your backup, and where backup is not available, it means you may have to pay the money, and that doesn't guarantee that you will get access to your information back or your computer, which means your computer could end up being useless and you have to start from scratch. And imagine how much that could worth in money, or what type of professional would you need to bring in to try to get this backup and running. So the lesson learned here is that regular backups are important, and this ensures that staffs and employees are trained to recognize what the attack vectors are and what to look out for so that they are better able to protect themselves. So let's go to the next slide, please. So in this case, the best practices and recommendation I have is to conduct regular training. Should staff be interested, give them rooms and avenue to learn more about cybersecurity, understand what the technology landscape is and how it's changing, which happens quite often. So, and in other case, implement secure, robust security policies, which means that you create an enforceable, acceptable use policies, and policies to ensure that people adhere to this rule and that they are being monitored properly. So, and the last case is that have an internal IT security team or outsource IT security to an external security team, in which case they are able to work closely with you and have something like an SLA in place, which means service level agreement, which will detect that maybe in the first 3 minutes of your report, someone should respond to you. And if that is not done, that means they are breaking the agreement and they are liable to some sort of penalty. So this always works as well. So let's go to the next slide, please. So in conclusion, the key point in this is that it is important to protect your sources and sensitive information, including the devices you are using as well. So the second thing is that practical tools and technique for secure communication and data protection are everywhere, but you should learn how to use them. And also, if you do need more information are always available online. You could start by using Google. Places like Reddit are places where you can find more information. And it's also fun, should you enjoy anything about information security or technology as a whole, you can read more on it and get more information. So in today's days, just like we need physical security to ensure our safety in real life, security is important as part of our online presence because most of our life, including even the healthcare, some people have their heart beating on a network device, which means they have a computer in their heart. So imagine if someone act that kind of thing, that means you could essentially kill the person just by alternating something in that computer in their heart. So if you think far and wide, a lot is going to happen and it's going to get worse from here. So I implore everyone to be better prepared for what is to come, which none of us know. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll be very happy to answer any question anyone would have.
Thank you so much, sir. Please put your hands together for him. Can you do that better? I really wish we all listened to his session. You know, he talked about cybersecurity in journalism. And I would always like to refer back to the May conference where I think we had the media, I think the media executive for NIJ talked about how someone copied his content and there was no way you could, sue that person, take that person to court. It's very important, especially for those of us that would have that you're into online media or you have a blog or something. That session was very needed, and I really do hope that all the things you said, we can all put them to work. Please, a round of applause again for Mr. Rashid Jimo for that insightful session. Thank you so much. All right, a little break before we go to the next speaker. I want to believe the third place winner of NIJ God's Talent is here, Shitu Tomiwa. Is he here? All right. So he's going to give us a short presentation, right, before we go into the next session. Please put your hands together for Shitu Tomiwa.
Every other day I organize. Some cause are white. Every other person overwise. Olọ́gbọ́n jù, ògbọ́n, 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 ìwọ ló gbọ́n jù. Àgbọ̀ngbọ̀n jù, ọgbọ́n, a máa mọ̀ ọ́ lọ́gbọ́n gan, ó ti lọ́gbọ́n jù. As I dey reason, sometimes I dey think why life can be like this. And I go drop am back to my fans, may they feel my melody. So many things I dey feel for my body. You dey play me, alaye, no dey whine me. You sef dey see everything as e dey be. I dey beg Jah, Baba lókè ṣàánú fún mi. Ìwọ ló gbọ́n jù. Àgbọ̀ngbọ̀n jù máa mọ̀ ọmọ gọ̀ ni o. Ìwọ ló gbọ́n jù. Àgbọ̀ngbọ̀n jù máa mọ̀ ọmọ gọ̀ ni o. Every other day I organize. Some cause are white.
Wow. All right. Hello? 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 Hello?